on turn 1. Well, you know how
it just is.
It's all you want.
It's really powerful as a 1-drop. Why is this a controversial opinion?
I was playing a lot of Secret Mage on the ladder the other day, and it got to the point where every time I played Mana Worm on turn 1, my opponents would emote me.
Seems valid.
Yeah.
I don't understand what your issue is with my perfectly healthy description of Mana Worm.
This is looking more like a Gunter Mage than a Secret Mage, though, with the Ice Block and the Gluttonous
Ooze, importantly, yeah.
Gluttonous Ooze.
Ice Block, Gluttonous Ooze, yeah. Ice Block can definitely be part of the secret package in Secret Mage. I think if you're playing Pyroblast, Ice Block makes a lot of sense. And Ice Block is just the best secret in the world for activating Medivh's Valets. Just because it's universal, it can't be removed unless through chicanery like Eater of Secrets. So.
Chicanery? I appreciate that word. That being said, Gluttonous Ooze could be in Secret Mage. It is possible. It depends. If they are wanting to build it specifically to beat Pirate Warrior, then sure, why not? That being said, that's a Cabal Courier. I'd say this is much more likely to be Gunter Mage now.
Yes, indeed. The Mana Worm is there crucially, though. So it is going to be an early advantage, and it is the Silence Priest as expected now from Austria. So we will see, because Silence Priest classically removes a lot of the very situational priest removal cards these days. When I really messed around and had a good chunk of success with Silence Priest right back on day 1 of the expansion.
I remember.
And I wasn't playing Shadow Word Death because I felt like Silence can do the job against big threatening minions a lot of the time anyway. But I was still playing Shadow Word Pain because Shadow Word Pain just seems like a nutty card to me. But then suddenly this build that Tyler had amazing success with that just cut basically all of the situational priest removal and just went, hey, you know what? The only spells I'm playing are things that help me hit you in the face really hard.
Yeah, it really put Priest down to its skeleton, and even removed what would be considered very, very important pieces, like the Shadow Word Pain and Death, as you were saying. And now it's just pure Silence Priest. The Sun Fury Protector, not one of the cards that was seen in Tyler's list that he had a lot of success with back then.
Yeah.
But it's something that people have been putting in. It's sort of like squeezing an extra Faceless Shambler in. It allows you to give one of your big Razor Leafs or Watchers taunt, even if it's not been silenced, and even if it's not able to attack.
Is this a good card, Falk?
Oh, Mana Worm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This 1-drop that's just now a 3/1 has killed the Priest's first minion for free.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
That's incredibly strong, and I totally agree that a lot of the mages' success can come down to whether or not they get it on turn 1. Mages aren't often running Babbling Book. They're not even running Cabal Lackey, which seemed for a while like that would be a common thing.
In the Secret Mage,
yeah,
right?
In the Secret Mage.
Sure.
But even they don't seem to be running that card. Turn 1 Mage, it's all about the Mana Worm.
So Primordial Glyph into any card that costs less than 3 will enable a reasonable trade here. Glyph into Arcane Intellect would probably be the absolute dream in this position.
Yeah. Or a Counterspell in this scenario.
Sure.
When you've got complete control. Not complete control of the board, but when the Priest has nothing on the board. We saw one of the players earlier today mess up their interaction against Counterspell as the Priest by wasting Purify when they could have used a potion.
It was Silence, but yes, same.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that Potion of Madness that they didn't use to test was just stuck in hand all the way to the end. It was Australia at the time, and you know, Navi even said in his interview afterwards, like, yeah, we really messed up against that Counterspell, got punished for it.
SilverName really taking his time here.
It's amazing watching, particularly Stanadachi in the previous game, playing so slowly because he's got 3 other voices in his ears. Like, Stanadachi, I call him like the Hearthstone supercomputer because he plays at such a lightning pace purely off insane weight of experience. I'm confident that he's played more Hearthstone than anyone else alive at this point. You know, upwards of probably 50,000 wins at this point across all formats. So he's seen every situation before, over and over again. So when he plays, he doesn't have to think and logic out situations. He's been in that situation before, so he just plays in seconds. But now you're in this weird team format where you can't really do that. You have to wait for all of your teammates to have this input around you.
And it could absolutely make him play worse as well.
I think so.
If he's used to playing very, very quickly, and he's having to stop and think and question his own decisions.
Poly pickup off the first glyph definitely seemed like a clear choice. This one a little bit more awkward. Is it just a pyro and go?
What would Raven pick?
Don't! Please, I get so triggered.
I know. That's why I asked.
I get so triggered by Raven and his pyroblasts.
Is it right, though? It might be the only way of dealing with...
You've got 2 fireballs in your hand. I don't know. It doesn't look that terrible.
Yeah. Arcane Explosion's definitely not the pick.
How much removal... Sorry to cut you off, but like how much actual removal do you need when you already have a polymorph and a meteor in your hand, right? Like this deck isn't going to spray the board full of tokens. It's going to play a couple of huge dudes that you can deal, one with a polymorph and one with a meteor. And you just start burning face.
Ironically, those weren't actually the best picks for this current scenario. I mean, a second polymorph, yeah, that would have been great.
Right.
But Pyroblast and Flame Strike, actually not as helpful.
What is this hand? GameKing, please.
Yeah, GameKing not with the best hand here. Doesn't want to purify either of his minions, but does want to draw cards. Can't damage the Acolyte of Pain in any way, but has nothing to heal for the Cleric.
I do sometimes wonder about this Silence Priest build, as my voice just cracks for a second, where you're playing the Acolyte and Cleric package, but most of the time, there it goes again, most of the time you're playing, you're not playing Pyromancer and Circle of Healing. Sometimes there is that one Pyromancer that's being teched in, but I think with some Fury Protector coming in these days, it's probably taking that spot. So how much value do you really get consistently out of Cleric and Acolyte when you're not running Pyromancer and Circle of Healing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. I apologize. I was just a little bit distracted by that Discover then. Pyros versus the Cabal Songstealer both seemed like pretty good picks, but getting a Silence against a deck that can buff up his stuff a lot seems good.
Yeah, one of the reasons why the Silence Priest mirror is so stupid is that both players are actually scared to use their silence effects offensively.
Yeah.
It quite often goes that whoever commits to like silencing something and going face offensively first loses, because they end up losing to the defensive silence coming back the other way when they put buffs on. So using that knowledge, you can assume that just having silence effects against a Silence Priest is a pretty powerful deal.
It's certainly one of the more interesting mirrors, like with the Quest Rogue mirror.
Interesting. Is that the word you would go with for the Quest Rogue mirror?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it would.
All right.
It would.
Sure.
Especially with the game earlier with the Tar Creeper.
That was actually a really
kind of being the card that almost won the game because
that was
it
a pretty cool
protected the board.
Fair enough.
I'll go with interesting though. Second Mana Worm, it's not turn 1, so I guess not quite as relevant anymore. This is where that 5 mana Flame Strike may have come in handy.
True. Still wouldn't have been fantastic in this spot, though. Still not enough mana to Flame Strike ping, which means like value trade Cleric, Flame Strike, and ping the Watcher wouldn't have even really worked.
I guess Meteor's just better, but at the same time, he doesn't really want to waste the Meteor. But then maybe he can, because there's a Polymorph in hand.
These are all excellent points, Falcone.
Meteor, the Ancient Watcher, trade away the Cleric. You've got Polymorph, you've got Cabal Songstealer. I don't know. SilverName has all of the answers he could possibly want.
He also has 22 damage in hand. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, and Silence Priests don't usually run Priest of the Feast, though it can happen.
It can. I would be very, very surprised if we saw a Priest of the Feast appear in this deck. It seems like a reasonable minion that wouldn't be the worst to play. Like 3/6 is a decent stat line to start going Divine Spirit in a fire on in the first place. Right. Plus, it's just such a resilient minion against aggro anyway. But I think when it comes down to it, you know, making a 4/10 taunt early on and then slapping a Faceless Shambler on it, you beat aggro anyway. Like, you don't really need the Priest of the Feast in this deck.
Looks like now that GameKing has seen a Meteor, he's all in on the strategy of get a minion on the board, double its health again, match its attack with its health, and then I guess play the Shambler. But unfortunately for him, as we can see, SilverName can deal with 2 big minions. He can silence away the Shambler, making it a 1/1, and polymorph away the other thing, making it a 1/1.
Tempo 5/5 Songstealer, go. No, that's just not going to happen. He would have liked to have a big tempo push this turn, so he could potentially... Jesus. So he could potentially...
Wait a second. There's a Potion of Madness there.
There is.
So if there was a Radiant Elemental, Potion, double health, in a fire, we're actually close to just...
6, 12, 24, yeah. It's close.
Yeah.
I must consider.
There's no mana for it yet anyway. No, there is.
There is, yeah. 24 him and give it back as a 24-24. That doesn't seem wise.
It's terrifying though, just seeing how close he is. If there was a, like, if his next draw is a powered shield.
Actually, would it be 25? When does the last like mana worm buff apply? Would it apply after the Divine Spirit? I forget with mana worm.
That's actually really tough.
When you cast or after you cast on the card text? I can never remember.
I think it's when.
Okay.
But don't quote me on that.
No.
If there was a powered shield, though, obviously he wouldn't have the mana for it this turn. But say the mana worm's still there as a 1/3 next turn, and a powered shield is picked up, GameKing really is getting there. That would just be lethal.
Yep. Has he used a powered shield yet this game?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember.
No, he did. He made the Radiant Elemental a 2/5 because I was talking about glyph into Arcane Intellect to deal with it with the Mana Worm.
Mana Worm's not being buffed.
So I believe there is only one left in the deck right now, but that is a glorious out from GameKing. If he picks this up now, this will be one of the coolest things that we have seen in competitive Hearthstone.
I can't believe that this is even a possibility. Potion of Madness is just a crazy card.
1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana would be the power word shield, yeah. So he'd get it done. That's just way too expensive.
Yeah, almost there again. If there was a Radiant Elemental in hand, then I think this would be possible now. Yeah,
so Radiant Elemental would be 2, then 0, 3, 4, 5, 8. Yeah, you can get it done.
So GameKing doesn't really have a choice now. It looks like that's his strategy.
I mean, you have to be very, very careful in this kind of position that you don't get super tunneled into the world's biggest cute play syndrome, right?
Yeah,
like, if you end up in this world where that is all you are thinking about doing, then you can potentially find disaster for yourself. But it seems, based on this just kind of hard cycle turn, that might be what he is looking for.
Yeah, immediately he's used up the Cabal Talon Priest. I was thinking, was there a possibility where if the Mana Worm gets buffed up, then GameKing could still Potion of Madness the 2/1, use the Talon Priest to make it use the Talon Priest to make it a 2/4, then double.
See, you know what I said
that's 32.
You know what I said about 30 seconds ago about being sucked into super cute play syndrome?
Right.
That's that.
But yeah, again, like that would have allowed for lethal if there was a Radiant Elemental pickup. The thing is, Austria are running out of ways to win this game.
Right. Mana Worm going to 2. Is the window closing? Ooh, Hydra.
Oh
wow.
My goodness.
That is a ton of power right there. Trade off the Mana Worm. Trade off the Mana Worm. Look at that. Look at that.
Well, now it looks pretty over.
It does, yeah. It was exciting for a moment.
I'm really sad. I was looking forward to that.
Based on the Tarim top deck in the previous game, oh my god, look at the faces of Austria right now.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you have to say, they probably deserve that after the Tarim pull in the previous game.
You asked me after the last game if I needed a moment. I think after this game, I'm going to need a moment.
Okay, fair enough.
Whoa.
So, is there a survival play into your opponent plays a minion that you can kill him with next turn? Is that ever a world?
Like Medivh's Valet?
It's going to be a 2/3, right? It's going to be Arcanologist or it's going to be Medivh's Valet. So 3 into 6 into 12 into... No, it's just not getting there, right?
No. I don't think there's anything GameKing can do to survive. There's, what, 25 damage on board, plus the weapon, plus the ping, plus 2 fireballs, plus a Pyroblast. Obviously, there's no mana to play all of those cards together, but you don't need to play all of those cards together to win. Is there something here?
They are going to find some way to get a random Volcano in their hand.
Oh, is he going to... Oh, wait, he might actually play the Shambler.
Going to make a huge taunt this turn, just hope it's good enough, yeah.
If only there was a way of Team Austria playing the Potion of Madness as well, just to show Russia they had it, and they were ready to cheese this victory.
Speaking of only if only there was a way to remove this enormous pile of stats and turn it into an innocuous 1/1 sheep.
Yeah. Well, this isn't the first time we've seen a mage beat a Silence Priest today. I think the very first series that we cast together